So, like I told you guys before, which I do on this channel, is that sometimes when I happen to hear about stories that I might not have come across or heard of, because obviously in life I was doing completely other things, I will just so happen to bring up those stories. So, here is story number one. A mother charged with taking the lives of her two young sons, knowingly and intentionally pulling a Hansel and Gretel. Investigators state that the two toddlers had lost their lives and had irreversible damages done, plus the item used had to be removed from the apartment. Lamar Williams' family stated that she struggled most of her life with mental illness and may have been dealing with postpartum at the time of the incident, stating that it was a tragedy which her sister thinks could have been prevented. On Monday, January 28th of 2019 at 4:55 a.m., patrol officers responded to Galena View Drive in reference to an assisted medical call for service. The Charlotte Fire Department and the medic began life-saving efforts on an unresponsive 7-month-old infant who was transported by medic to Arterium Health where she was pronounced deceased. Homicide detectives were notified and responded to both Arterium Health and the incident location to conduct an investigation. Crime scene search also responded to the initial location at Artrium Health. Anna was transported to police headquarters where she was interviewed by homicide detectives. Police didn't believe nearly anything Rihanna was saying as a result of information and evidence collected. Detectives charged her, transferred her to a county jail. Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieter stated that on April 13th, Tiana Robinson, age 25, and her boyfriend, Rensley Washington, age 25, left the little girl home alone as they went to the grocery store. Dieter stated that when they returned, they learned that Miller, who was not potty trained, had urinated on herself, prompting the mother to start going after the young child. Miller passed after she was taken off of life support on April 21st. The news outlet reports that she suffered a variety of injuries resulting in her passing. Dieters revealed that Miller was 23 pounds and severely malnourished when she passed. He also stated that evidence suggested that the little girl was also injured for an extended period of time. Robinson was arrested before Miller's passing and was charged with attempted murder and endangering a child and felonious assault. Washington was charged with endangering children and obstruction of justice for allegedly telling police that Miller's injuries were the result of falling off of a scooter. At some point, Robinson, the mother, admitted to a lot of the injuries that Miller had sustained until she ceased breathing. Prior to the April 13th attack, Robinson reportedly cut off contact with her family and refused to allow police and the Department of Job and Family Services to conduct a welfare check on the home, presumably to hide what was going on. To this day, Robinson and Washington remain in jail. So I just wanted to keep this pretty much short, sweet, and simple. And especially for a lot of those divestors and a lot of those individuals that tend to leave comments like Joseph James, enough with the gender war. And then we have the one at the bottom who is actually a person who used to comment on the very first channel. They ended up finding their way here and they responded to a comment that I made to James, and they stated that, so you admit that you're perpetuating it with your post and what you post and the videos you repost. It shows you have a chip on your shoulder when it comes to women. Now, I'm pretty sure that she actually meant black women and not just women in general, right? Because if people have taken notice, I have started doing quite a few videos which pertain specifically to black women committing crimes when it deals with their own children. And I do that to highlight a point and to further showcase that we have an issue in the black community and it's not just one-sided. It has to do with both sides, right? In order to have a whole, you have to have two halves. So, like with these individuals here, they don't want to focus on the whole issue. right? They don't want to focus on the missing half that doesn't get talked about. They want to focus on what, America or the system has, in a sense, told them is the glaring issue and the glaring problem, right? Which is AKA black men, right? Which is AKA me, because from some of the comments that I've showed you guys before, I enable black men to commit such violent, atrocious, and heinous crimes. I'm the one that helps perpetuate a lot of these crimes by way of me being a black man, and just by me existing. Like I said, I'm not making this up. I've done videos covering a lot of the nonsensical comments that I have literally received every single time I do videos like this. And the most interesting thing about this is how I love to catch people, right? Because this is how stupid people are. That when I do videos pertaining to other nationalities, other cultures, other people around the world, I never hear people bring up enough with the gender war. I never hear people sit up there and say, oh, you have a problem with a woman from Europe, or a woman from Australia, a woman from China, a woman from the UK, a woman from South America, a woman from Canada, a woman from wherever I've literally done these stories. These people never show up. These people never say it's a gender war, and they never say that I have a problem with women. Now, when I happen to do videos pertaining to and specifically talking about the heinous and atrocious crimes that we have black women committing in the community against their own children, now it's a gender war. Now it's an issue. Now I have a problem with black women. Now I have a chip on my shoulder. See how that works? But all of these crimes could have very easily not taken place if the necessary folks would have actually stepped in, right? So, just as with the very last story, right? I'm just going to start there just for this example. The woman, the mother, right? She stopped the police and she stopped child services from doing welfare checks. Now, if that was a man, that would never have happened. They would have just went. If that was a black man, they would have went directly into the house, took him to jail or prison, charged him for whatever they wanted to charge him for, and then they would have took the child. But when it deals with women, like I said, women have more rights and they have way more leeway to do whatever it is that they want to sit up there and do, because they are solely given 100% custody of these kids, right? But not even her family could have seen the child, because she cut off all types of communication with them, meaning that they didn't know what was going on with the child, if the child was here or if they weren't, if they were in the state, if they weren't. Like I said, she was doing a lot of deceptive things, both to the family, right, and also to law enforcement and to child services. And then the very first story, where you have the lady to the left, one of the family members listed that, yeah, she has she learns slower than other people, and we knew that there was an issue, and it could have been prevented. And that's the saddest part, when individuals know what could have been but decided not to. And this is what I keep talking about every single time. It does not take a rocket scientist of a woman of logic to clearly see, like, yo, this woman is not a fit mother. Let me do what I need to sit up there and do to better this child, to benefit this child, right? Let me not be selfish, and let me not just sit here and stay back and understand the fact that this is going to go off the rails. Let me actually save a life before a life is taken, right? And there were, like I said before, in a multitude of stories that are covered, you'll more than likely hear families who are, if they're honest, you'll actually hear them say that, yo, this could have been prevented. But a lot of families don't want to say anything because they don't want to be the ones to blame. They don't want to take that initial responsibility, even though, yes, that responsibility is on them, because that is their blood, right? That is their relative. That is their loved one. But like I said before, a lot of people are too selfish, and a lot of people just can't admit when they were wrong or when they were late to the party. And this is why you don't have a lot of families speaking on this like you did with the woman, in her honesty, dealing with the first family. They stated what the issue was. The woman had, she was a very slow learner, which means at any certain point in time after the child was born, that means that the family should have came in, realized the situation, and got the child directly from her and then raised it for her, allowing her to have visitation and to see the child, which means that, yeah, the mother is still there, but she doesn't have full and total control, which would have then enabled and allowed her to commit the act that she did. But like I said before, when I point out logic and I point out these facts and I point out these situations, this is when people want to roll up and say that Seiji has an issue with black women. Seiji has a chip. Why are you only going after black women? Why are you only focusing on black women? The most interesting thing about this platform is it wasn't built off of black women. Let's just let that be known. Let's just get those facts directly out there, right? So, you know, one of the very first stories that I did was of Botham John, who was the young man who had his life taken by Amber Geiger. So like I said before, a lot of people don't want to happen to do their research, but they just want to talk because that's what's good. That is what will trigger, other people. That's what helps gaslight, certain situations, which leads into other certain, situations. So this is why I just post these comments directly on these videos to showcase the ignorance and the stupidity of a lot of people that just want to talk on this platform, and they're not actually about trying to fix, right, a situation, trying to prevent these things from taking place. Because the main thing that I state in every single video is that adults do not care about kids, and all they're further doing by coming on these videos and trying to state whatever it is that they want to state is, of course, going over the fact that a child is no longer here, going over a fact that a grown adult decided that this is what they wanted, this is the act that they wanted to commit towards this child that cannot defend themselves or speak for themselves. Like I said before, at the end of the day, adults do not care about kids, because if adults cared about kids, a lot of these things wouldn't even necessarily happen. But keep rolling up here being sensitive and further proving me right about adults don't necessarily care about kids at all. And I will keep showcasing your dumb and ignorant comments on every single video that I do about these stories. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.